Welcome back to the second part of the second session. We will be speaking about completion. Having understood the different components of a conflict situation in our last session and also realizing that these can lodge into the baby as biomemories, it becomes necessary for us to know how to handle similar situations when it happens the next time. It is the powerless words given to oneself that enters the baby's body, and we are directly responsible for this as parents. So long, all of this has been happening to the baby in our unawareness. Understand, in awareness, such powerless words to ourselves will be largely reduced. In fact, many times you do not even know what you want to achieve in life. You do not know what is the purpose of life. It is just because of incompletions. Conflict situations, if not handled correctly, lead to incompletions within. See, it's like each part of your incompletion claims, I am you. For example, if your name is Sundaram, each part of the broken you claims, I am Sundaram, I am Sundaram, I am Sundaram. And who screams loudly, he thinks he is Sundaram. And each broken part goes on claiming, I am you, I am you, I am you. And one of the worst things is one part of you spends so much of energy to disprove the other part is not you. So finally, whoever wins, whoever loses, you are the loser. One part of you winning is not you winning. Even if one part of you wins, you are the loser. Unless your whole wins, you are a loser. As separate entities, each part of you screaming that that part is you finally lands you in such deep confusion that unless you heal yourself and bring yourself to completion, unless you bring yourself together, align you as one being, life doesn't start for you at all. Removing this illusory gap, you are different from it, and experiencing the truth, you are one with it, is completion. I repeat, removing the illusory gap, you are different from it, and experiencing the truth that you are one with it is completion. The illusion creates incompletion in you and the other. Deciding to remove the illusion of incompletion and declaring to experience oneness with the other is completion. It will happen in many ways. It may happen in the form of reliving, that is, reliving to relieve yourself of this. It may happen in the form of relieving reconciliation. It may happen in the form of enriching. It may happen in the form of reaching out. It may happen in the form of relating. But once completion happens, one thing will be taken away from you, that is reacting. You will not react. You will only relate, relive, reach out and rejoice. Completion is removing the delusion of incompletion which makes you cognize the other is separate from you. The delusive cognizance, the delusive cognition, understand, incompletion has no existence. It is only a delusive cognition. Incompletion is the delusive cognition that stands between you and the whole, complete with everything. Completion is nothing but reclaiming those bits and pieces you threw away in your unconsciousness. Listen, parts of you, bits of you, pieces of you, you shared or threw it away with so many people in your life unconsciously. Reclaiming all of it back, becoming complete with you is completion. If you have an emotional connection, it means you. If you have a hatred connection, you threw yourself on them. But you need to know emotional connection or a hatred connection, both are connections and both are incompletions. Both are connections and both are incompletions. Completion takes away the agitated confusion and alternative compensating image you create. As you have a very disempowering cognition about yourself, which we had spoken about earlier as the mamakara, you have a very disempowering cognition and you create an alternative compensating cognition to compensate for this inadequate cognition about you within you. It is like you first declare you are a beggar, forgetting the billions of dollars you have in your bank balance. And then you project yourself to have a rich image to cover your belief that you are a beggar. But unfortunately, the final thing is you will project that your whole life you were a rich man but lived as a poor man, but in reality you were the richest man. I repeat this whole thing. It is like this. You first declare you are a beggar, forgetting the billions of dollars you have in your bank balance. And then you try to project the rich image to cover your belief that you are a beggar. But unfortunately, the final thing is you will project that your whole life you were a rich man but lived as a poor man, but in reality you are the richest man. First of all, you create a very disempowering, inadequate cognition about you. Then you feel shy about it, and then you create this alternative compensating cognition which you project to the world, and you spend the whole this alternative compensating cognition which is your outer image. Till the end, you never feel satisfied because you feel the guilt your true identity is much, much more than what you can imagine and show. So whole life ends in a deep incompletion and your trial and error methods you do with the incompletions. The first thing you will realize, the alternative compensating cognition is a lie and it will melt down. The second thing, your disempowering cognition about yourself, that will melt down. The third, you will realize your original self is much more than what you projected as your outer image, that is the alternative compensating cognition, and you will have complete easiness between what you feel as you and what you are as you. When you complete with everything, with animate, inanimate, with everything, you will experience a space of non-duality, Advaita. Inside you, so much of your inner space is regained, your consciousness is back to you. The more your inner space is back to you, the more your consciousness is back to you. Miracles you can cause in your life, more mysteries you can handle in your life, more bliss can be experienced by you in your life. You can relate to the baby only if you're complete within. As that moment of time, you are not pulled within you. You don't think about you. You're so fulfilled within that you pour yourself out onto others. The whole being is so complete that it pours itself naturally onto the baby within. This is the moment of time. The power of words are experienced by you, the Vak Shakti. The words you give to yourself and others see a fulfillment. You reclaim your birthright of what the cosmos has already bestowed you with. Completion makes you live integrity, and through integrity, you experience the Phalashruti of Vak Shakti. Please listen, along with your root pattern and split up of your personality, one more thing has entered into you, constantly doubting. This is another aspect which we will be handling now, the self-doubting pattern. Please listen carefully. Because any part of your personality decides or does anything, the other part doubts that cognition. Whatever your right hand does, that is here, your left hand is doubting. Whatever your left hand does, the right hand is doubting. So you have to do everything with both hands, only then it will be successful. Your doubt is nothing but you taking revenge on you for not being in integrity. I repeat this, your doubt is nothing but you taking a revenge on you for not being in integrity. When you again and again break your integrity, you start doubting you. It is nothing but you attacking you with anger. You attacking you with anger is self-doubt. When these two become different, one important thing, please listen, one important thing, especially when others are convinced about the image you project outside, you think, oh God, all these fellows are fooled. Even though I'm hiding what is and projecting something different, everyone believes it, everyone is fooled. Then I think this is the way everyone is fooling others. Then you start doubting everything outside and also doubt you. The worst conscious killer disease is self-doubt, especially self-doubt established as a pattern in you. You will see very clearly, you will work for something, and when it becomes a failure, you yourself will take revenge on you. You did all this, and this, you definitely deserve this. How many of you have had this self-revenge pattern? This is called the Atma Droha. First, there is what is called the Atma Sandeha, the self-doubt. Then we have the Atma Droha, that is the revenge on the self. And this leads to Atma Hatya or self-destruction. But I tell you, only by the declarations and making them into reality, the spiritual strength of Atma Bala is created. Why have I spoken so much about self-doubt? The reason is, unless the self-doubting pattern is handled, we cannot move into completion. And this needs to be handled very, very carefully and consciously. The next we will be talking about is decision making. There are only two kinds of human beings on planet Earth. One who is used by the incompletions, the other one who is used by the space of completion. If you are used by the space of completion, please listen, if you are used by the space of completion, you will go on creating, inventing, and you will be going on being creative and be alive to yourself. If the incompletions are using you, if your decisions are made out of incompletions, you will find yourself tiring yourself out. You will find yourself continuously exhausted. You will be waiting for death. You won't be living life. You will just be waiting for death. If the incompletions are driving you, everything in life, even the so-called pleasures, will be boring. If completions are moving you, everything in this life, in fact, even waging a war or anything which we call as hard in society, will be inspiring you. If the completion is driving you, you will find solutions for every problem very easily, very simplistically. Please understand, when you're driving out of incompletion, you may have one dimension which is successful in life, but you will fail in life itself. One dimension which is successful in life is not success. One dimension of success in life is not success. Your logic gets sealed in inadequate cognition when incompletions drive you. Listen, your logic gets stuck in the inadequate cognition when you run with incompletions. Your emotions, the decisions you take during your emotions, can't be completely trusted. And one more thing you need to understand, that does not mean you should not take any decision based on emotion. I'm clearly specifying this again. Your emotions, the decisions you take during your emotions, can't be completely trusted. One more thing we need to understand, that does not mean we should not take any decisions based on emotions. We should take decisions based on emotion, which should also be supported with intelligence. So whenever we are high on emotions and want to take some decision, if we stop taking decisions, we will live as buffaloes. If we take a decision immediately without the intelligence happening, we enter into incompletion. Hence, we need to raise ourselves, our intelligence level, to the level of the emotions, build up completion in us to support why we should do what we want to do. Whenever we are high on emotion, like example, you are in love with a boy or a girl and you really want to get married to them. If you don't take the decision in that high emotion, your whole life will be like a buffalo. So understand, if you don't take decisions when you're highly excited, feeling powerful and emotional, you become a buffalo. Same way, if you take decisions during the high emotions, you will also be a failure. Then what should be done? Build the intelligence to support your decisions during such high emotions, which means building completion, completion. This is what raises our intelligence at that moment of time to handle the high emotion that we are having. So during high emotions, self-doubt also will be in high frequency. So complete with that self-doubt, complete with all the self-doubts that we have, and then take the decision with that level of intelligence happening. We need to also look at life from a different angle. Understand, life is not average. Life is very specific. See, it is like this. Reading the statistics in the road accidents, 92% of the people are saved. Only 8% died. It is like only 8% died, but for the fellow who is dead, it is 100%. He cannot be happy about the statistics. And 8% of the people are only dead, 92% are alive. Can he be happy? The guy who is dead and the 8% who are dead are 100% dead. Most of the time, we go on creating average as a reality of life. Average idea itself, that is averaging itself, comes from a space of incompletion. The idea of average is from an inadequate cognition. Understand, generalizing and averaging is not life. Generalizing and averaging is from an inadequate cognition. Most mothers are in this space and allow themselves to work from the idea that life is average. Yes, pregnancy has happened. Yes, I'm running through it. I'll continue to work and let it be born when it is born. And there are others to handle the upbringing of the baby. I'm also possibly a part of it. This is averaging. The idea that life is average. It just moves with the flow with no conscious partaking in the process. It is only with completion that a space of positivity and possibility happens in the mother. As long as conflicting patterns exist, this space and the power of words and thinking cannot be experienced by the mother. I repeat, as long as the conflicting patterns exist, the space and the powers of words and thinking cannot be experienced. Your pattern looks more natural and comfortable because you're very settled with it, and it looks more possible for you than your possibility. I repeat, your pattern looks more natural and comfortable because you're very settled with it, and it looks more possible for you than your possibility itself. Because you're settled, because you're habituated, the pattern looks possible, and your possibility looks impossible. The biggest block in the road of your completion and creation is not the smallness of your pattern, but the bigness of your possibility. Understand, while on the surface you believe that you're confronted by your patterns and limitations imposed by your patterns, deep down inside you, you actually resist expansion. Just see, look around the society. Everything is nothing but the resistance to expansion.